Hello, everybody, and welcome to Comics from the Future, our weekly show where we go over all of the newest comics and awesome covers that are available for pre order. I'm Jason,
Mandy.
and we're with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. So, this is going to be a big show.
Yes.
There's a lot of really awesome books on here, but Andy and I, we've been talking about this like off and on all day. We love the comics that excite people, the ones that
Mhm.
bring all our readers together, where we know like 70, 80% of everyone that comes in our store are going to all buy the same comic so we can all talk about it. And I would say that is going to be the Batman Spawn crossover.
Yeah. It is an event book unlike any other because this is a 20 years in the making type thing.
Yes, 28 years
8
since the last time
Wow.
they had a crossover. Yeah, pretty interesting. And so, without further ado, let's go ahead and start the show. But I will say there's even more than that. There's
Oh
some other
yeah.
really big books this week as well. So that's why I named this the Batman Spawn crossover edition of our show. Just real excited to have something that I just think are
Mhm.
all the comic people are going to come together. So, beginning with featured comics, and I think we can guess what that is. Yes, it is Batman Spawn. So they did crossovers. They did two crossover books
Mhm.
in 1994. The first one was written by Frank Miller with art by Todd McFarlane.
Mhm.
And then that same year, they released a second one with a different creative team. So 1994, now it's 2022. In fact, it's going to be the end of 2022. So we're
Yeah.
talking 28 years, going on 29 years since they've had a crossover.
A lot
Um,
has changed in both the characters' arcs over that time too.
yeah, I mean, seriously. So in fact, speaking of which, this is going to be done by Todd McFarlane with art by Greg Capullo. So McFarlane's writing it, and Capullo is one of the creators of. He did so much great Batman art. If you're
Mhm.
on Batman, he's one of the creators of the Court of Owls.
Yep.
Well, the Court of Owls are going to be at the center of this. They are the people that are going to bring Spawn from New York City to Gotham, and they're going to use him to fight Batman. So that is generally the plot. I read several interviews about this. I really did a deep dive.
Mhm.
The other thing I can tell all of our viewers is there's supposed to be a new Talon. So Talon is the main assassin for the Court of Owls, who is sort of a breakout character.
Yeah.
Well, that's sort of more of what they call their head assassin, and there's going to be a brand new one in this. So this is just a one shot. However, it is going to be double sized. It's going to be $5.99, and I think anybody who doesn't hear about this and pre-order it is going to be running out to get it. Now, this isn't coming out for a while. It's coming out December 13th. I think because they know they're going to have to print so much of it,
Mhm.
they're making people lock in the orders early. A lot of good variants to choose from that we're about to show you as well. I mean, this is some of what our show is about.
Yeah.
Lets you pick and choose because there's so many variants. Us stores, we're not going to carry limitless copies of all of them.
Mhm.
So definitely tell your store which ones you want. And if you let your store know by Sunday, because orders are due by then, you're guaranteed to get it. So let's go through the variants. Of course, this is just our regular cover, which is by Greg Capullo. Capullo also has this variant cover.
It's
So,
like who are you rooting for?
yeah, there you go. So you got your Batman on top, then you got your Spawn on top. So this one is considered the main
Yeah.
cover. This is the first variant. This is the B cover, the Capullo B cover.
Think about Capullo too. His big start was on Spawn.
Right.
He was kind of took over and a lot of his style was based off of that. This is very full circle. He did Spawn, then worked on Batman. Now he's doing Batman and Spawn
He is the
together.
perfect choice to be the artist for this,
I can
just like
imagine
McFarlane is the
else.
perfect choice to be sort of the creative head of this.
Yeah.
So I think I read by Spawn issue 300, Capullo had done 75 issues of Spawn.
Wow.
So yeah,
You couldn't have picked anyone else.
quite seasoned. So here is the C variant cover by Delato.
I love seeing some of these artists too that we haven't seen draw Spawn, what their take on him is. Like Delato's has a very like messed up face
I
and
see, and the chains are very present and
yeah,
alive. All right, here is the Sean Murphy variant.
very cool.
It's got that Batman White Knight
Batman White
edge
Knight
to it.
Spawn.
Yeah. And then here is the Mattina E variant. Very dark, except once you get down to that green spawn
Yeah.
magic. Then we have the J. Scott Campbell variant. We have the Jim Lee variant. Of course, Jim Lee's gonna do one. I'm sure this
Yeah.
one's gonna be very popular. We have at least at our store, we have people. If Jim Lee draws it, they get it.
Yeah.
Um, we have the Jason Fabok
I
variant.
think that one's incredible too. The just the atmosphere and everything in that is so
Well,
cool.
the background gets in both their backgrounds. Spawn always hanging out around graveyards. Batman, Gotham City
Yeah.
buildings. So you get both of them there. And then there will be a blank variant, so you can have your favorite artist draw on it. You can get signed. I think this comic's gonna be so big, it's gonna have a long tail on it, a
Yeah.
long life on it, where McFarlane's gonna be autographing these and Capullo for years to come. And then there is going to be a glow in the dark McFarlane variant. This one's going to cost an extra dollar because of the production costs
Hmm.
for glow in the dark. But I think that I'm going to probably grab one of these.
Yeah,
I always
that's
like to see how well it works.
and that's such a Spawn thing to have a glow in the dark cover.
Yep. And then lastly, there's going to be an acetate variant. Um, with the acetate variants, typically, they're made of a nicer material. Sometimes when you open them, they like change what they
Yeah.
show. I don't know if this one's going to do that or not.
Sometimes they're showing us the inside, sometimes they're showing the outside
Yeah,
here, so you never really know till you get them in what the it's all gonna look like.
at least we're getting to see something from it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to order blindly. Speaking of which, there is also going to be one more McFarlane variant that's cover is not available to see yet. So if you want that one, you will literally have to order it blindly. So I guess that would be the McFarlane. I don't know what letter that would be.
No, no, it's hard to tell, but he's busy.
Yeah,
He's got a lot going on, so
for sure. So big week. Had to start the show on that. But there is more. There's much more.
yeah. Including this is probably the biggest thing from Star Wars in a while. So Marvel historically has done things that are like point one issues, zero issues. They have these things that pretty much they've done every year to some extent. That I think Timeless was probably the
Yeah,
Kang
where they're
book.
like hinting at everything that's about to happen over the next year.
Yes, so that is what this is in Star Wars Revelations. This is a one shot. As you can see up there, we've got all the books represented. Got Han and Chewbacca, we've got Darth Vader, Dr. Aphra, Bounty Hunters in the center of the main Star Wars book. This is going to be written by your writer of uh, Han Solo and Chewbacca. And what he was saying is this is also a story. It's not just like, oh, here's some stuff coming up, like a almost like a catalog. No, this is a story because Darth Vader is going to be going to the Eye of Webbish Bog. If you're not familiar, he's a cut character
Right.
from I think Rise of Skywalker. He's like this weird spider guy on Mustafar that's like kind of
Like a soothsayer or something.
yeah, and Vader's going to go to him for some reason, and Vader is going to kind of see the future. That's going to involve seeing what is coming up next year for all the Star Wars books. It does talk about that there's going to be a lot of surprises in this, of course. These usually involve some either cameos or first appearances.
Yeah.
There's always something in here. We do know there is a character coming up in Darth Vader. It's going to be a droid that's going to cause him a lot of trouble. So we'll have to see what all that means. But if you're reading the Star Wars books, any of the ones represented on the cover, I think this is something that you're going to want to pick up because it's going to pertain to whatever you're reading. So that is the A cover for it. We have the B cover. This is the
I
Hitch.
mean, that's fantastic.
Yeah, that one's really awesome. And you can see, I believe, Kira in his reflection because this will actually be coming out in the middle of Hidden Empire. So this will involve some stuff that's going on with Hidden Empire as well. We've got the Peach Momoko cover, which is really nice with
Yeah.
Dr. Aphra. And just because, I mean, so much stuff coming out, there is a new Yoda series coming out. I had to do some digging to find out how long this was. This is going to be 10 issues. So this is a Yoda maxi series.
Interesting.
If you stack them, they would probably be taller than he is. And this is really cool. So we did just have the Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi miniseries that was, I believe, 5 issues. And in it, Obi-Wan was reflecting on his history. That is how this is going to be, but instead of one issue stories, they're going to be about 3 issue story arcs. So that'll be 9, and then there'll probably be a closing issue, I would
Right.
imagine, that kind of ties it all together. Because there's going to be kind of a through line. Because this is set when Yoda is in exile on Dagobah, and he is reminiscing about different times in his life, but his life goes all the way back to the High Republic. So this first issue is going to begin in an older public tale back when he was on the Jedi Council, all of that, where he kind of has to decide, is he going to go against the Jedi Council's orders to help somebody? But I'm excited about this, especially with 3 issue story arcs. So this is going to feel like a quite a series. And who knows where this is going to go? They did tease the High Republic, so that may be one of the story arcs. We haven't seen too much of him during that time frame. I think this is another super exciting book a lot of people are
Can
going to
you
want to pick
think of
up.
any comic series that starred Yoda and had his name in the title that was longer than like a little miniseries?
I don't think so. I don't think there was anything maybe longer than a one shot during the Dark Horse
Right,
era. And this is definitely the longest
right.
title for Yoda. So a lot's going to be explored in this. Um, so yeah, this is our A cover. And then we have our Camuncoli variant.
All right, next up, I Hate Fairyland is back, but look at Gert. That's not the Gert from the past series. She's all grown
She
up.
finally got to grow up.
Yes, she got out of Fairyland in the last series, and so she has grown up in the regular world. So this series, just like the last one, it's being written by Scotty Young. He's also going to be doing the covers, as you can see in
Hmm.
his very signature style. Um, it's going to be the art is getting done by Brett Bean. And so in this, Gert has grown up in the real world and she's having trouble finding employment because the only thing she's good at doing is what she did in Fairyland.
Yeah.
So guess what? She's looking for a way back. I think that's a kind of a funny way to twist the
Yeah.
tale. After
Yeah.
all the trying to get out of Fairyland, she's trying to get back. I don't know if she's trying to get back permanently or if it's like a job that she wants to do there. That isn't revealed. But I think what's cool is, since I Hate Fairyland, the first one, Scotty Young's only gotten more popular.
Yeah. Yeah. He was basically only known as like he drew uh the Marvel characters as babies.
Right.
And this was one of his kind of breakout things that he proved. I mean, I guess this is probably his first writing job, was the first his first like
Maybe.
creator owned creation.
Create your own stuff, yeah. So I think that a lot of people are going to read this probably more than read the first
Hmm.
series, which is fine because there's such a time jump. It's not going to really matter if you've read all the original stuff. So this does have a lot of variants. I think everyone just jumped at the chance to do these variants. I think we have 7 of them.
Some unexpected ones too.
So of course, Young did the main one. Young also did this variant, just sort of colored different, and it looks like her arm went up.
Well,
So
and the title of it got more explicit.
oh, I see that. Yes.
That's the original series did that too. They had the explicit variant covers.
So I assume that little line there will not be
It
there.
will not be there.
Yeah. And then we have the interior artist, Brett Bean, has done a cover.
So if you have any doubt, like, oh, Scotty Young's not doing the interiors, it looks like we're getting.
He works with good
Yeah,
people. So just like he did on Twig.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
mean, his Twig's interiors were great. Then here is the Peach Momoko variant. Here is the Maduera variant.
I think that's the art germ.
Oh, yes, I got ahead of myself.
Yeah.
This is the art germ variant.
She's
Very,
wicked
yeah,
looking.
she's got darkness on her mind. Here's the Maduera
Yeah,
variant, and you were talking about this.
yeah. Joe Mad, as he goes by, he has not done comic work in quite some time. He'll occasionally come back to do something here or there, but if you're a fan of the Darksiders games, that was what he went off and did. So you kind of get a hint of that with his dragon character here, but very big artist, like uh, X-Men Apocalypse era,
Hmm.
all of that. He worked on that.
So check out this one, the Jenny Frizen variant. I think, this might be my favorite one of all of them, and there's some
So
strong variants on this series.
familiar yet very different for Frizen.
Yeah, and there will also be a blank variant as well. So much to talk about this show.
As well as this is our final part of the Dark Crisis one-shot tie-ins. Of course, we're ending with Batman. So this is Dark Crisis: World Without a Justice League, Batman #1. This is going to be cool because Batman we have not seen a ton of in here, but we've always seen the few glimpses with a lot of gears and everything because this is the world that was kind of created for Batman. Um, but he's going to do one of his biggest detective jobs at all. He is going to try to solve the mystery of his own existence. So, very cool sounding. We know that this version of Batman is going to be in the main Dark Crisis book as they come out of all of this. But if you've been enjoying these, I think this is another really cool one. Of course, ending it with Batman. And just like all the others, there is a backup story about another Justice League member, and this time it's going to be Zatanna. So I'm just as excited about seeing what Zatanna's world looks like. Very magical. So this is our Sook A cover, and then our Sook B cover.
Zatanna's world where it's like everything's written backwards. You try to read books.
You can't wear a hat because there's always rabbits hopping out of them.
Everyone's wearing fishnets everywhere.
Everyone.
Okay, so this is Avengers Assemble Alpha #1. So this is going to be sort of the capstone issue that's going to begin the last little arc for all the stuff Jason Aaron has done with the Avengers. He's written well over 60 issues of Avengers now. He has set up so many things. This is going to be bringing together the Avengers team, the Avengers Forever team, and the Avengers of 1 million BC.
No,
They're
all the
all
things that
coming
he's
together.
built up.
Yeah, yeah. So they're all coming together in this. This is going to be 56 pages, so that is over double
Mhm.
size. It's going to be 5.99. So this will be the first part of at least a three-parter. I was really trying to see how many parts this was. I know it's at least three parts because it's going to continue in Avengers issue number 63, and then it's going to issue part three is going to be in Avengers Forever #12.
Okay.
So this sort of begins it, and then it goes into those series. So anyway, it brings all the teams together up against a great, great, great evil. Doesn't really go into who that will be. I mean, it's gotta be Mephisto. Mephisto's
That's
had his hands in all this stuff the
yeah.
whole time. So if you've been reading Avengers, that'll probably be what's going on. If you've been enjoying Jason Aaron's run, you definitely want to check this one out. But I also thought people would want to know it's an alpha to the other series where it
Yeah.
continues.
Also, don't necessarily expect your store to, if you're getting Avengers, to put this one in your pull list because it is a different title. Uh,
Yes.
you want to make sure you ask them for this one.
Yep. And so this is the main cover. This is the Hitch cover, but it's a wraparound. Here's the other side of it. And then we have a J. Scott Campbell. This is called the Avengers Anniversary
I like these kind of retro
variant.
covers he's been doing.
And lastly, there's a LaRocca variant as well.
And next up is Stargirl. This is Stargirl, The Lost Children #1. So I just saw Black Adam. It seems like DC is really leaning into the Justice Society now, which I'm thrilled about. They're one of my favorite things in comics is the Golden Age characters, and Stargirl tends to kind of circle those
Right.
characters. She's kind of related to previous Golden Age characters. Well, we've got the new Golden Age coming out first. That's going to be setting up the uh, new events coming in the DC universe, and then we get Stargirl. And in Stargirl: The Lost Children, this is written by Jeff Johns. The art is by Todd Knock. And what it sounds like is there is a previous young hero who goes missing, and it's up to Stargirl and Red Arrow and some of the Justice Society members to try to find what happened to this kid hero. But then they learn maybe this wasn't the only person that went missing. Maybe there was a lot more. So if you read the final issue of Flashpoint Beyond, I think you're getting a glimpse. There was some missing characters that have been held somewhere, and it looks like they escaped, and now we're going to start unraveling the mystery of that. I even think on the cover you see some of those characters that were mentioned in that issue. Maybe like the Golden Age Red Lantern and characters like that. So I feel like this is going to be really important to the uh, Justice Society arc that the DC universe is going to be going on. I'm very excited about this. It also says who is who or what is the Childminder. So it sounds like we might be getting a new character or a new group or something in this as well. So this is our A cover from Todd Knock, and then we have our B cover. This is the Crystal Kung variant.
Okay, so check this out. Those of you who like Silver Surfer Black, Brad Moore is back at it. Marvel has said, hey, you're awesome. Go do another story. This time it's going to be a Doctor Strange story. So this is Doctor Strange Fall Sunrise #1. This is going to be a 4-issue miniseries by a visionary writer and even more so artist, Trad Moore.
Yes.
If y'all haven't looked at Silver Surfer Black and what he did with that, I would check that out.
He is a very prolific artist. Things from Strange Talent of Luther Strode.
Right.
He's done so many things that are just awesome.
Just really trippy art, but it's amazingly
It's very
trippy.
kinetic, like things just move on the page. He's got a sense of pattern and everything that's crazy.
Yeah, so this story is supposed to be Doctor Strange wakes up, no memory of how he got to this strange alien planet where he's alone. And it says he must explore the land of blades and mysteries to figure out why
Hmm.
he's there, what's going on. I did another deep dive on this. It's like, is this canon? Is it not? Doctor Strange is currently dead, so he could be anywhere.
Yeah.
Although, if you're reading um,
Strange.
Strange, you know he actually is sort of a character in that
Yeah.
book, but he's sort of the avatar of death right
Mm.
now. I don't think that this is canon right now. It could be a story from the past, from the future. I don't think it matters. I really don't. You know, Silver Surfer Black, that story is canon,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it just kind of happens away from everything.
Hmm.
So I think that this is going to be sort of that way as well.
Yeah, it's a very interesting Doctor Strange too, with his hair being longer.
Right.
He maybe kind of looks a little older. Who knows if this is maybe set in the future or
Right. Yeah, it's just not revealed. You'll have to read it, but I mean, if you've checked out Silver Surfer Black, I think you're going to know if you like this style or not. I was pretty blown away by it. So this is our main cover, which is a wraparound. Here's the back of it, just to give you a hint on what some of these in. Like,
yeah.
he doesn't save his best work for the covers. The interiors are just as detailed and weird and
Yeah.
interesting, which I mean works so well with Doctor Strange. With Silver Surfer, it was like the sci-fi edge. Like,
Yeah.
what happens when you go way deep into space? Some of the things you might experience. Um, with Doctor Strange, I mean, it makes complete sense. So here is the Ron Lim variant, and then we have the Peach Momoko variant, and lastly, here is the D.W. Johnson variant for this 4-issue miniseries.
That one's really cool where like books are making some kind of portal.
I see that, yeah.
Okay, so Blast from the Past. Check out those costumes because we are bringing back Extreme X-Men. Uh I've when Extreme X-Men was early 2000s.
I believe you're right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I always loved that costume for Wolverine. But so this hits me pretty hard. I had a lot of issues of Extreme X-Men. And they are returning to that time frame, written by Chris Claremont, and the art is by Salvador LaRocca, who worked on Extreme X-Men. So this is another one of those Marvel going back to certain time frames and expanding on them, especially for people who remember them fondly. So in this, Kitty Pride uh, has had a big psychic attack happen to her by her villain Ogun, who is you'll see on one of the variant covers, and that has to bring the Extreme X-Men team back together to take on this threat. This is going to be 5 issues um, set in that time frame, but it also does hint that like oh characters will never be the same or you'll learn something new about the characters. So it sounds like maybe this is I don't know. With Claremont writing it, he's got a lot of flexibility to change characters around and maybe reveal stuff about them. He has that authority to do that. So sounds like we're gonna. It's not just gonna be a like oh fun one and done story. There's gonna be some ramifications for the stuff that happens in this. So this is our La Roca A cover. We have our Gomez variant. And you can see Ogun, the big villain, in the background. And then we have our Noto homage variant.
Yeah, I think Marvel has been like, okay, well, while the Hickman Krakoa stuff's going on, let's do some other things for people who want to get those other feels
Yeah.
from different X-Men teams across the ages. I think that's smart.
Yeah, I
Just
think it's great. We've had the stuff like Wolverine right after his fight with Hulk from Hulk 180 and Hulk 181, Extreme X-Men. Just a lot of really fun stories.
more of the X-Men adventures
Yeah.
stuff. Okay, so now we're going to get to other number ones. If that's not enough for you, Andy was telling me he produces this show. He
Uh-huh.
puts it all together, and he was telling me how much trouble he had selecting which ones were the featured because so many of these are
Yeah,
good.
like basically these other ones are they're still just pretty much as big as some of the other ones. We just have two sections and I had to divvy it up.
Okay, so for instance, Thanos Death Notes. So this is a one shot. This is going to be a 40 page, so pretty much double size one shot, where this is going back to Donny Cates' Thor. You remember, or have maybe you've heard about, where Thor got to see that glimpse into the future where Thanos had the Infinity Hammer
Hmm.
and he had killed all the Marvel Universe characters. Well, they're going back to that. And in this, Thor is investigating where is Thanos? You know, he's dead. How could he come back? How could this future happen? So he's going to investigate the Mad Titan's past to try to see if he can stop that future that he's foreseeing. I think they're doing this as a one shot to get that all back on the table. I think
Yeah.
next year they have plans for this as an event, and it's just been a while since the Cates run did that. Now, this is not written by Donny Cates, however, they put some heavy hitters on it. This is by Christopher Cantwell and J. Michael Straczynski.
Yeah.
Both of them are writing this, and the art is Ron Lim and Andrea DeVito are doing the art on this. So again, this is just a one shot, but I think it's setting up. I don't think this is going to end that.
Yeah.
I think that this is just getting it back on the table. So this is our main cover, and then we've got two variants. Here's the Acuna variant.
It's like a movie cover.
Yeah, movie poster style. And here is the U variant.
That's one of the
Extreme
extreme. And I
Marvel
remember seeing this
variants.
being like, that just looks like a thing Thanos would wear normally. Like that's it's extreme, but not for him.
Yeah.
Okay, so again with Marvel bringing back some kind of fan favorite storylines and exploring them further, we have Planet Hulk World Breaker #1. This is a 5-issue miniseries written by the original Planet Hulk and World War Hulk writer Greg Pak, and in this one we are going to go 1,000 years in the future on Sakaar. It's funny before you know, Thor Ragnarok came out, just people who have read Planet Hulk and all of that are familiar. Now Sakaar is like we've seen it on the big screen, so we're returning to that world now, and there is a threat that's been going on, and a young girl who lives on the planet is seeking this legendary world breaker, the Green Scar. So if you've read it, you know that Hulk became this hero of the planet known as Green Scar, and she's seeing, you know, can I? Is there some way if this guy's so legendary, can I get him to help us? Is he even still around? Was that even a true story? Well, it seems like she finds somebody, but is it Hulk or is it somebody else using that mantle or whatever? I have a feeling I know who it is. Uh, we'll have to see. There's been
A close relative,
a
perhaps?
close relative, maybe someone who has appeared recently, and we're trying to get people familiar with that character again. He may even appear on one of the variant covers. But it sounds really cool, especially with the time jump 1,000 years. How has this planet changed? And who are the characters that she may uncover that are gamma powered. We'll have to see. So this is our A cover. This is our B cover, the CAMUNCOLI Scar variant.
I
Just
was gonna say Hulk with a nice head of hair.
yeah, well maybe this is, a son of Hulk. And then we have the U variant, which is really interesting because I think we're seeing some of the other characters that are going to appear in this.
Okay, another number one from Image. This is called Voyages, and this is by Sumeye Kasine, who is the artist writer of Elsewhere and Rise of the Magi. So, from what I gather, what this is about is one of Earth's Voyager probes crash lands on this planet far, far away, and the planet is like sort of near death. There's a black hole that's been close to it, reaping, just bringing them close to the edge of extinction. Well, this one alien finds the Voyager probe and is going to try to use our Earth technology to help take down the tyrants who are still ruling the planet. So not a lot else on it other than that. But if that sounds like your thing, that is generally what I understand this is about. And it just has this one cover. So if you're trying to avoid any temptation of variant covers, this might be for you for that reason as well.
And then another Marvel number one, a new mini series in the Double Trouble uh Double Trouble verse. I don't know what you call it because we had Spider-Man Venom Double
Right.
Trouble, we had Thor Loki, and now we have
It's a little bit like young adult.
yeah, this is Peter Miles Spider-Man Double Trouble number one, a four-issue miniseries. And they're really great all ages stories. They're very evergreen that we recommend to younger readers all the time. And this time, I think it's a great idea to bring in Miles with Spider-Man, and it's a really funny idea. So you've got Peter, you've got Miles. They're both heroes of New York. They're both friends, but is one of them the hero and one of them the sidekick? Well, they both are claiming that they're the hero and the other's the sidekick, and we're going to find out when Peter accidentally opens up some kind of portal and some monsters get out. I think you can see them on there. They kind of look like I don't know, evil Pac-Mans or something.
Yeah, I see that.
And it's going to be up to Miles to try and stop them and prove once and for all that he is the hero and Peter's actually going to be the sidekick in their partnership. So this is our A cover for that. And these are also funny. This is the Jones variant.
I like his spider sense is going off that Miles is about to score 2 points.
Yeah. And then we have the Momoko variant.
Momoko with no lack of work.
Yeah, especially if you have two people playing basketball but both have spider sense, I feel like you're just like no one
It's
scores.
going to be very
People
difficult.
shoot, people block, it's just nonstop.
Yeah. Okay, that is all the number ones finally. Now we're getting to our next segment, cool covers and other comics. This is going to be some of the variant covers we think are the most noteworthy of the week. Also issue number twos and threes of books maybe you started reading, you just need a reminder that you might want to put those on your pull list
Hmm.
or ask for the next issue. Starting with Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man number two. So I reviewed number one on our Monday show,
Hmm.
which you can see on our last video. And I was blown away by the art in this book. It is scary. If you want to see Spider-Man mixed with a nightmare, that's what this is. This is the artist in it. It's Juan Ferreira. For
Ferreira?
Ferreira.
Ferreira.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Juan
It's
Ferreira
one of those
does
names
some
I always read and I never
incredible art
pronounce.
inside of it. It is definitely Spider-Man in a nightmare. And why? Because the main villain is the Demon Bear. Right, all the way back from New
New
Mutants is
Mutants.
here, just infecting Spider-Man's mind. So if that sounds cool to you, you might want to check out issue number two, or go grab that issue number one still. So this is the main cover. Then there is a David Mack variant.
It's interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen, I'm sure he's done it, but David Mack doing just a straight on Spider Man. It's really nice looking.
Yeah.
And this is not a number one or a number two. This is actually Amazing Spider Man number 14. This one's important because this is the prelude to Dark Web. Dark Web's going to be the big X-Men Spider-Man event coming up. And right there on the cover, you have Chasm. Chasm has only been in two issues. One issue of Amazing Spider-Man and then the Free Comic Book Day issue. But it says, you know, he hasn't been just sitting around doing nothing. He's been scheming. And we're going to find out in this issue what he has been up to and how this is going to kick off Dark Web. Um, it's going to have Chasm. It's going to have Goblin Queen is going to be making her return, and it says a new villain. Now I'm wondering if this new villain is Hallows Eve that you'll see on some of these variant covers, or if they're meaning somebody else. I'm not sure, but I believe this is actually supposed to be the first appearance of Hallows Eve, and think they've already said she's getting her own mini series after this. So they're really going hard on this new character. So I believe you can double check this, but I believe this is going to be her first
Too
appearance.
bad they didn't get it out before
I
Halloween.
know. So this is our A cover. This is our HOTS variant.
Definitely Kyle Hodge.
Yep. Then this is our McGinnis design variant, and that's Hallows Eve right there. She's very I don't know. I suddenly got started to
She's
put
like
a
Hobgoblin, but with more style. Just a
I'm starting to
style
wonder, you
Hobgoblin.
know, there's that new Hobgoblin that showed up. She could, you know, when they take off the mask. I don't know, but great design. I love the whole like Halloween theme for a character. So that's the McGinnis design variant. Uh, then we have this straight on McGinnis Hallows Eve variant.
It's great.
That's so good. And then we have
Wow.
the Staub Beyond Amazing variant. It
That's
just burns.
that's great. So that reminds me of the Spider-Man Treasury, where on the back it's a lot like
Mm.
that, but it's in yellow. I think,
Yeah.
yeah, or
And that even
yellow or orange.
I believe is his video game suit with the big white spider on it.
Okay, so next up, this is the main cover to Strange Academy Finals #2. This issue claims that our heroes are going to have to go up against the most terrifying villain Strange Academy has ever introduced.
Hmm.
I wish it said a little more because I'm wondering, does that mean new villain? Or this villain's already being introduced, they're just now having to go up against this
Yeah.
villain? Because you think it would be Gaslamp, but Gaslamp is actually mentioned later in the description as like a separate thing that happens in this.
Hmm.
So there may be a new major villain first appearance in this issue. We'll just have to wait and see. So this is the main cover. Here's the Baldion Extreme Marvel variant, and then here we have the Weaver trading card variant featuring a very cool Emily Bright trading card if she were one of those old style trading
Yeah, I
cards.
love those. I hope they release packs of those. Okay, and then a reminders, Exterminators. This is only a 5 issue miniseries. This is our issue 3. We don't have issue 2 yet, but I loved issue 1. Really fun series. Definitely sign up for it. It's kind of a girls' night out versus vampires, and it is just all kinds of mature. So this is our A cover for that, and then we have our Nakayama variant, which is really nice.
Yeah, that looks great. Okay, so this is the main cover to Midnight Suns #3. In this issue, the Midnight Suns are going to have to go on a horrifying journey to get help from a very ancient and powerful entity.
Hmm.
So again, this is the main cover to that, and then which is also a
Yeah, I was gonna
Nakayama
say, I think that's
cover.
a Nakayama.
It definitely is. And then here is the games variant for Midnight Suns #3.
Okay, now we have Miracle Man #2. So this is interesting. I read when I had a little free time, I read issue #1. I really liked it. What I didn't guess I maybe have heard at some point, this is actually a they're remastering the previous run before they get into the new run. So this issue 2 is actually a remastered version of Miracle Man 24 or 29 from 1985. So it's new art by Mark Buckingham, but the same story, I think, to make it fit better as they go into some new stories. But very cool, very interesting look at superheroes and what it would be like to kind of be a golden age character and then wake up in the modern day. If you're a fan of Neil Gaiman, you'll like this one. And that was our A cover, and then we have our B cover by Shalvey.
Here is the Lashley Extreme Marvel variant for Captain America Symbol of Truth #7. In this issue, White Wolf has put Falcon in critical condition. So again, this is the Lashley Extreme Marvel variant for Captain America Symbol of Truth #7.
Then we got some Darth Vader. This one sounds really cool because there's a possible new character in this. I don't know how big they're going to be, but named Jewel Tambar. And back when, right before the horrible events that caused Anakin to burn and have to get his suit, he went through and was destroying all the separatists. There was a character that he took out called Wat Tambar. If you're a big Star Wars fan, you'll know that name. But it sounds like maybe a relative of him is now going to be coming in seeking revenge for that. So this is our A cover. We have our Clark Revelations variant. That's Wat Tambar in the background to the right of Vader. And then we have our LaRocca variant.
Okay, here is the Coella variant for Alien #3. In this issue, you've got sort of the new alien strain they're calling the Icarus strain,
Mm.
and they say that in this issue it is going to start showing some very disturbingly human tendencies.
Ooh,
Yeah, so that's interesting as Marvel continues to sort of grow and expand the aliens and what they are and what they can do.
that one really polishes its head to get that nice of a
It does
reflection.
like the shoe shine thing. So this is a Coelho variant for Alien #3, and here is the Myers
That's
variant
incredible. That's so cool.
for Alien #3.
Okay, so this one's really interesting. This is our A cover for Avengers Forever #11. And I had to flip forward in my notes to see when you were talking about Avengers Forever #12
Right.
coming up.
Yep.
Um, but this one, if you look at the cover, you got a little bit of a Ghost Rider on there, Robbie Reyes, who's been a character in this. But in this one, they've been playing around the idea of what kind of Ghost Rider is Robbie Reyes. He's a little bit more than your average Ghost Rider. In this one, he becomes his ultimate form, which is called the All Rider. So sounds like we are going to get a new version of Ghost Rider in this, the All Rider. It seems to be almost like a cosmic being level Ghost Rider. So if you're looking for all those first appearance of different Ghost Riders and forms, this is going to be a big one.
All right, so this is our regular cover for GCPD, the Blue Wall #2. In this issue, Commissioner Montoya has discovered something bad about one of the new recruits. I read issue #1. I think I know what she's going to discover. If you read issue 1, you probably know that. So again, this is the regular cover for GCPD, the Blue Wall #2. And then we have this Fiumara cardstock variant.
Which is great with the laughing fish, but it's very realistic.
The Joker fish, they're so delish.
Okay, how great is this cover?
Wow.
This is the
The capes are taking over.
yeah, this is the Batman Superman World's Finest #9 Chip Zdarsky variant. And of course, I mean DC's having fun with these 90s throwback covers. You're going to see some more coming up. They're poking fun at themselves with the over the top cape. I feel like this is a little jab at McFarlane's Spawn capes and Batman capes. But in this issue, we got introduced in the previous issues to Boy Thunder. He got his name in the last one. And we got a little bit more of his background. But at the end of the previous one, a certain clown prince of crime showed up. And in this one, you find out maybe Joker wants a sidekick with some superpowers. So he is going to be gunning for Boy Thunder as well. Sounds really cool. And of course, this is our Chip Zdarsky 90s variant. And then we also have, which is super cool, this is our Black Adam Carlos Barbary 90s cover. And in this one, we are going to get uh, it says basically a full issue fight between Batman and Black Adam.
Okay, so here is the '90s month cover by Jim Ballant for Catwoman #49. I mean, this is going to get confusing. Our back issues, it looks
It's
so
so
like a
accurate,
'90s
yeah.
series. In this issue, there's a clown gang that has moved into Alleytown. That's no good. Catwoman's
No.
not going to put up with that. So again, this is the Jim Ballant 90s variant for Catwoman 49, which is one issue before issue 50, so something important might start
Yeah.
bubbling up in this one. Then here's the 90s variant. This is by Todd Knock for Flash number 788. I mean, kids just extreme skateboarding,
This is really cool too. If you break it down, you've got Wally skateboarding there,
right?
and you've got, I
I
believe,
see Booster Gold in the back.
Booster Gold and I think Blue Beetle
Blue
are down
Beetle, yeah.
there, Wallace West, and there's some characters in the background. I spent a lot of time looking at this and being like, who is this? So it seems like he had a lot of fun with this cover.
Yep. So this is the Todd Knock variant for Flash number 788. And in this issue, Central City has a new mayor who does not like Flash, and he deputizes the rogues to try to get them to legally like get rid of the Flash. Like, what? What's
It's
the
so
mayor?
messed up.
But I mean, this series has been such a fun read. I'm
Yeah.
very much looking forward to it.
And then we have Nightwing number 98. This is our 90s cover month variant. And I kind of did this in reverse order so we could keep the 90s covers together. But you'll see on a later cover, this is going to be our first appearance of Nite-Mite.
Yep.
So the Batmite version of Nightwing is going to be coming to cause trouble in Bloodhaven, and Nightwing and Barbara and the rest of the gang are going to have to deal with that. So this is our 90s variant. Then we have our A cover, which I love how
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
a, I guess you call it an homage to the
Issue number, I think, 81.
yeah, the plot issue that everybody was wanting for a long time that had,
Yeah, the first Melinda
yeah,
Zuko, first appearance of Haley, also known as Bitewing. Yeah,
yes. So that's homage to there, but looks like he scratched it out and put Night Bite. And then we have our Jamal Campbell variant as well.
yeah. So you weren't on our Monday show. I had
Hmm.
to run the whole thing. I'm still recovering, but I read Nightwing 97, and it ends very weird. It ends like somebody's there, and it's like how, who, what? I promise, as though it's like coming up. It gets even weirder. So I definitely can
You see
believe.
how it's gonna get weirder.
Yeah, that this character would be in it. This night biter.
Night Bite.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the main cover to Harley Quinn the animated series Legion of Bats number 2, and in this issue, Harley and Ivy find a possible new recruit at the mall. So you'll have to see what that's all about, who that could be, and here is the hip variant to that issue as well.
And next up, we have Junkyard Joe number 2. Of course, this is the Geiger spinoff series by Jeff Johns following this military experiment robot soldier and one of his partners in his squad, who later becomes a cartoonist and makes up comics about him. Well, in this one, uh, the cartoonist is getting older and Junkyard Joe shows up at his front door. So the other big thing to say about this, if people haven't heard, is that Geiger got picked up by, I believe, Paramount Plus
Yep.
for
Well,
for a new TV show. And this sounds like it's pretty like certain that this one's gonna happen.
yeah, it feels a little more firm than some
Other
optioning.
than being optioned, it's like, nope, it's this company, all of that. So, and Geiger, even when we're reading it, we're like, this is perfect for adaptation. It's got all the right pieces in play. And Junkyard Joe is a part of that. So, if you're going to try to collect all of the Geiger universe stuff, you'll want to pick up this one. If you haven't picked up the first issue yet, maybe subscribe to this. So, this is our A cover. We have our Dan Jurgens variant. We have our Kangas variant, and then we have our other Gary Frank variant. And then they are also doing a second printing of number 1 in case you missed that one.
Yeah, I'd say, especially after the news of the optioning.
Yeah.
Okay, so here is the main cover to Image 30th Anniversary Anthology number 8. Now I know they're pretty far in,
Yeah.
so why are we featuring this one? You know, it's a pretty cool cover, but this is going to have the first bits of the new James Tynion series, World Tree.
Yeah, how it's spelled is with some zeros and some threes, and
Yeah, he spells it in elite hacker
yeah.
spell for those of you my age who know what that is. But anyway, so James Tynion has an upcoming series called World Tree, and there's been a lot of news on it. He's been claiming it's going to be huge, big, you know. Well, it's going to start in this.
Hmm.
So if you want the first cameos or first appearances, a lot of his stuff that's going to be in that, it's going to be in this. But this has more than that. This has a new Casanova story. This has a new hack slash story. It's got a new story by Jeff Johns. It's got a new story by Scotty Young.
Hmm.
This thing is jam packed. But I thought the James Tynion thing, since it's
Yeah.
going to be a new series, we'll bring that up first.
And then we have this super cool cover to Gunslinger Spawn number 14. This is the B cover, the Berens cover.
Okay, so here is the Jenny Frizen variant. Man, she's getting creepy. To
Prison's going through a dark place right now.
Something's Killing the Children number 26. So this is the Jenny Frizen variant for that. And then this, the Order of St. George is just getting closer and closer to capturing Erica. So that's what's going on in this.
And don't forget, we've got TMNT, the Armageddon game, still going on. This is issue 3 of that. If you've been enjoying it, you might want to pick this one up because this is the cover B, the height variant. And I would just pick this out because I love to see different artists' interpretation of turtles. You know, how they draw the faces, all of that. And I thought this one was really fun.
All right, so this is the Zucker variant for Alpha Beta's number 2. Alpha Beta's just launched last week. It is the first comic by new comic publisher Whatnot. So those of you who enjoyed the first issue, here is the Zucker B variant. Then we have the C video game variant. Definitely Mass Effect
Yeah.
homage there. And then the D Super Mario 2 homage. And in this, you know, it's like a bunch of video game players. They learn that video games kind of secretly power the world, and their video game team might be needed to do some things in game to save the world. Okay, now it's time for our final segment, other printings and graphic novels.
Starting with some local comic shop day books. We have local comic shop day coming up. They've been kind of sprinkling these covers through the weeks for us to order. This is from some of our Merc Publishing books. This is Born of Blood number 1. This is the regular cover for that. And then they also have a Virgin variant that's a couple dollars more. And then there's also one for Death Rage, and there is a virgin version of that as well. So let your shops know if you want some of these local comic shop day books, because these are technically kind of reprints. So, you know, they may not order a ton of them if maybe they still have some on the shelf. So let them know you want these covers.
And another noteworthy one is Grimm is having a foil number 1 reprint for local comic shop day. So this is going to cost $5.99. Uh, I recommend this series. I
Oh, yeah.
quite enjoyed this series. The interior art by Flaviano, who I believe did this cover as
Mhm.
well, is fantastic. The story is really cool and gripping, good characters. So local comic shop day variant, $5.99. It will be foil, so it'll look like this but sparkly.
Okay, I love this. This is an awesome second printing cover for Star Wars High Republic number 1. This is the Andadito variant with the concept art for one of our new characters in this era of the High Republic. And then also, this flew off the shelves like I said it would. I said people are going to be all about this. And the sad part about it is we've had so many people say, sign me up for this series. And it's not a series, it's a
No,
one
I
shot.
know.
So let your voices be known. Let Marvel know that you want more Star Wars Vision stories, because this was awesome. So this is our second printing. The Okazaki, who is our writer and our artist, now doing this variant cover, the second printing variant as well.
Is that an interesting colored lightsaber there in the background, sort
Yes,
of?
which I'm still waiting for someone to come up to me and be like, I figured out what you were talking about. If you've read it, let me know. Let us know in the comments. It's been long enough that who your theories are, who the mysterious other character is. Because I think that was the coolest part about this issue.
All right, Wakanda #1 is going back to second print. This is the Medina variant for second print of Wakanda #1. This is a series that's going to feature different people from Wakanda. The first issue featured Shuri. It's all a very Shuri-centric issue. So there's that.
And then we have what are they calling this? The Immortal Pack. So we've had the Slaughter Pack, and what was the other one called? Because they've done it for House of Slaughter and Something's Killing the Children.
Right.
Um,
Can't remember
but
the other
now this is the thing Boom is doing. They're doing a pack for Berserker, and it is going to be issues 1 through 4 with all new covers by Andrea Sorrentino this time. So if you're a fan of Berserker, you might want to get this one, or a great way to catch up through 1 through 4. This is going to be $39.99.
All right, lastly, they are releasing a facsimile of Wonder Woman issue number 204. So this issue is really noteworthy because it's the first appearance of Nubia.
It's crazy. Yeah, I don't
This
think
is
I've ever seen this one.
I think we've had it at least once or twice in
Mm,
store. We bought it in collections, but it doesn't stick around.
no.
This is from 1973. So if you want to have your own copy or read the first appearance of Nubia for a reasonable price, less than hundreds of dollars it goes for in decent shape, this is your chance. Okay, that is our show this
Ooh.
week. I feel like this is one of the best comics from the future we've
Yes.
had in a while with all the things offering. A lot of things to get really excited about.
Something for everybody, it feels like.
Yep. So again, we show all this stuff so that you can order from your comic store so they can place their orders and you're guaranteed to get the books.
Mhm.
Because after Sunday, stores' orders get locked in, and then if you ask for this stuff afterwards, it depends on if they have extra, if they've ordered enough, and that's why we do the show.
Don't assume your store is going to order what you're looking for. It's just easier to let them know.
It is. So if we've been entertaining, if we've helped you in any way, make sure to hit the subscribe button on YouTube. We're creeping up towards 2K subscribers. I'd love to see that number by the end of the year. Again, thanks a lot, and we will be back on Monday to do our weekly comic review, where we review pretty much all the new comics out that week and tell you about the first appearances and what the issue number ones are really about and things of that sort. So again, thanks for watching and go enjoy some comics.
Go read comics.
Yep. So long.